Astronauts to the moon.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
What is going on, everyone? It's Jaren from Jarenism, back with another video for you. Should be a short video, as I just want to highlight a channel that is destroying what should have been destroyed a long time ago. And that is the false understanding, the indoctrination of our minds, the theft of reality by convincing the world that we live on a giant space rock. Super sad indeed. Well, I'm just here to show another side, a side that so many people are actually coming to because it's easy, once you at least consider that you might have been lied to. There's no greater folly than thinking that you're invincible from deceit, from trickery, and ultimately wizardry at the highest level. So let's begin. Today I'm highlighting a channel you should look at if you're at all interested in determining where you live. This video, by the way, is not for Globers. By Globers, I don't mean people who think we live on a globe. No, we were all taught that, and so we all had no chance from the start. By Globers, I mean those who have no desire to learn where they live. I'm talking about atheists, science pushers, who will simply deny all documentation, all observations, and make excuses for anything that they're shown because they've already adopted a belief system that they love. That belief system is the one that tells you that your life is an insignificant moment in time, that you're a speck of dust spinning in endless space. You live and you die. There's no accountability for your life, and many people absolutely love that, especially those who are already determined that we're all a big accident from a huge explosion that came from nothing, and that there's no chance that there's any creator, any God. It's all nonsense, and so they need their spinning ball. Flat Earth destroys their belief system. That's the problem, is that people who hate Flat Earth will make any and all excuses possible. These people will also accept any explanation given as long as it fits their worldview and their deeply held beliefs. That's what they do. If you look at the universe, you have to remember that all galaxies are moving away from us. So the evidence leads us to believe that we're the center. But instead, they've convinced the world that we're on an ever-expanding space. It's like a balloon stretched out, being blown up, and all the galaxies are moving away from each other, and that's why we observe them moving away from us. Because the alternative is that we're the center of the universe, and that scares them to death. So it'll never be shown in science. It will never even be considered. But that's what my research has ultimately taught me, that there are other explanations. There are other ways to look at things other than how I'm told I must believe or what I must accept. So now when I hear,
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
I can just laugh. It's not a mirage. I understand why you have to tell me it is. It is exactly what it shows itself to be. The buildings in Chicago from across Lake Michigan. But you will find people everywhere who will fight you because you don't believe like they do. They believe that those buildings are actually behind the curve of the earth, and by some magical miracle, they're being displayed for you, lifted up and put on the horizon line. Lovely story. Yeah, it's those people. The ones who say that these distant buildings, they're Fata Morgana, non-standard refraction, super looming, extreme refraction. Those buildings, a figment of your imagination, they're being lifted, levitated, and displayed for you right on the horizon. The ones who say Canagoo is not really there. It's behind the horizon and being lifted up by some magical force. Probably gravity. Does this look like a mirage to you? We all know what mirages look like. Inverted images, very unstable. But as the sun sets behind Canagoo, we see them in all their glory. From 1,000 feet, we see Canagoo at 175 miles away. The math says that the horizon will block anything less than 12,380 feet. Uh-oh. Canagoo is only 9,000 feet. And look how much we can see. But Globers, they're the excuse makers. So they'll ask, why don't we see the bottom of Canagoo? Why can't we see the beach in front of it? And it's a simple answer. It's too far. It's 175 miles away. And the base of that mountain is at such a reduced angle that we no longer see it. Plus, we can talk about compression. I'll talk about that shortly. So the answers make so much sense, why we can't see the beach, but the question remains for Globers, why can we see the mountains at all? That's where the wizardry enters. Mirage, superlooming, non-standard refraction, whatever it takes to allow them to continue on with their belief systems. Don't you dare question it. That's why this video is not for them. This video is for people who actually want to determine where they live. Don't get me wrong, you're free to believe that it is a mirage if you want. A mirage that doesn't invert. A mirage that isn't unstable. You can believe it if you want. But I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's the mountains. That's the great thing about being a flat earther. I can observe something and say, there's the peaks of Canigou. Done. End of story. I don't need to bring in superlooming non-standard refraction. Because I've heard their explanation. I do understand it. Let me just show you on a picture here. This isn't a picture I made. This is actually their explanation. And like I said earlier, Globers will accept any explanation. So here it is. See this little mountain here? You can see the Earth is the sphere there, and you've got the peaks of Canigou on the left. Now you've got our observer on the right. Well, when you're actually looking at the mountain on the other side of the curve, magically it's being lifted up into the sky, and you're actually seeing it displayed at the horizon line. Again, this comes from the same people who think we live here. And so, needless to say, I don't put much stock in their explanations anymore. I choose not to be a pawn, an indoctrinated drone. I don't want to be like them. I don't want to be a person who finds it acceptable that in 19 years, NASA has never provided a 24/7 view of the Earth from space. They've got a craft in orbit. I don't want to be okay with the excuse that they're switching cameras. It's 2019. I don't want to make excuses for NASA and pretend that they earn, deserve, or give us a return on the now $56 million they get every single day. Or find it acceptable that 13,000 Apollo 11 tapes were recorded over? Nope. No, I don't want to be someone that sees space travel as my Jesus. No thanks. Nope, I don't need religious beliefs to be a flat earther. I need eyes. I need to make observations. See Canigou, see Chicago, and accept that they're there. Yep, that's it. Not fight it, not make excuses. If a man is born ignorant, to parents that are ignorant, in a society that's ignorant, lives a life of ignorance, and eventually dies in ignorance, well, ignorance is the norm. Thus, indoctrination can be called education, hypnotism can be called entertainment, criminals can be called leaders, and lies can be called truth, because his mind was never truly his own. All right, I know I'm long-winded. So that's why I no longer subscribe to the belief systems that were taught to me when I was too young to even read or contemplate the nonsense we are being force-fed from day one. The channel that you need to take a look at is called Jtolan Media1. It's on the screen, links are in the description. He is using infrared to see things that our eyes can't. That is why the name of this video is Long Distance Infrared Exposing the Globe Lie since 2018. Mostly because I never considered infrared for flat earth proof. But Jtolan Media1 has been demolishing the globe, well, since 2018. Alright, I'm going to be talking about his most recent video, and the link is, as I said, in the description. And he started out at Point Dume in Malibu. He shows us exactly where he's observing from. It's about 150 feet, but there's a maximum altitude there of 200 feet. And let's go with that because I always err on the side of the globe because it's that easy to show that it's actually flat. So you see here he's taking some images. This is not infrared. He's showing across the ocean here, looking back towards California. And I also take my Google Earth here, just so you can see. We're going to draw a line from where he's observing from, show you the direction that he's looking. So across this distance is actually about 20 miles into the shore of California there. He's looking across at the shore. It's about 20 miles. Pretty far distance, but just wanted to kind of give you a view. I'm also lowering my eye altitude to 200 feet just so we can get a view of exactly what he's looking at. And you see off there in the distance, we just got like a horizon line. Doesn't look like there's much of a mountain. There's one to the left there, but right where we're looking, maybe you can see a little tip of the mountain. So let's get higher and see if we can pull anything from behind the curve. And as we get to about 4,000 feet of eye altitude, we can start to see that way back there, 123 miles away, is a mountain, but it's well behind the curve. We saw that when we were down at 200 feet. Also, I wanted to show you that if I go to Tools, I have this set at the elevation of 1, so there is no increase or decrease in the elevation on Google Earth. And so let's zoom back in, get down to the 200 feet, and we'll see that everything falls behind the horizon. All right, well now I want to see then what does it look like in his photos. Let's check out his photos and see if they match Google Earth. So now we're looking at the regular spectrum, visible spectrum, a regular photograph here, and it does seem to match Google Earth. Can't see anything there. It looks like any mountain that would be back there is well behind the curve. For Globers, they will celebrate that this must mean that the Earth is curved because the mountain clearly fell behind the curvature of the Earth. So remember, Google Earth matches our photography. It shows that all the mountains have fallen behind the curve by far. So now let Jtolan Media1 show you why he's demolishing the globe with his awesome infrared photography. Jtolan, take it away.
But in infrared, it will show up clearly. Have a look at this miraculous imagery.
Look at that, St Jacinto, from poměrně. That's unbelievable.
Wow. Do you see any issue here? There's the mountain. That's Mount San Jacinto from 123 miles away. But our eyes didn't see it. The visible spectrum photograph didn't see it. Google Earth showed it behind the curve of Earth. But what do you know? Infrared exposes the spinning pear lie. Jtolan has quite a few videos on his channel filled with his infrared observations from airplanes, seeing distances you wouldn't believe, hundreds of miles, even close to 1,000. You got to check out his channel. That's all I got to say about that. Also, remember that when Jtolan started this, he was just like the rest of us. He believed he lived on a sphere. Now what does he say? Well, he says his observations show him that the Earth certainly measures to be level and flat. Why is that? Why with infrared can we see a mountain that Google Earth clearly showed us doesn't exist? Again, the absolute insane thing about this observation, that mountain is 123 miles away, and Jtolan is but 150 feet high. So the other thing that's great about him is he's an absolute pleasure to listen to. He'll walk you through all of these heights and show you exactly what we're seeing. He also discusses something that we've been talking about for a while, but many people are just starting to realize, that there's something called compression that goes on at the point where the horizon meets the sky. And the compression is occurring because of the vast distance and the fact that the angle that is created by the horizon, by the sky meeting the ground, that angle becomes so small and things get compressed and they disappear. Let me show you a little example of what I'm talking about. It also explains boats supposedly going over the horizon, which pull out your P900 and zoom in, and you'll realize that the horizon line is not physical at all. It is an optical effect. For example, let's take this image here. I'm not sure if this is a salt flats. No, I don't know what this is or where it is, but let's just take this image here and look off into the distance. And you might be able to tell, maybe not, that that horizon line is not actually the real horizon. The ground is at such a limited angle it is now reflecting the sky above it. So is the mountain. So the horizon line is actually here. And you can tell that's true because you'll see here and here are just mirror images. Same thing with over here and here. So now you might start to understand that if a boat went sailing off, let's say that this is water, and a boat goes sailing off super far into the distance, that it's possible that you would be able to see the sail of the boat, but the bottom of the boat would be hidden behind the heavy mirage or the heavy reflection. And there's also lots of compression going on here as we get to that very limited angle. Now picture we're standing looking at this mountain right now as the screen shows you. If you were to turn your head as far as you could left or right, there would never be any compression because nothing is getting in your way. You could spin around and nothing's ever getting in the way. The problem is when looking at this direction, the ground and the sky meet. And that's the problem. So as we get way off into the distance and things get smaller with distance And then you add to that the fact that you're reducing the angle of the things right at the horizon line. They compress, they get smaller. This causes many optical effects. Unfortunately for globers, it does not cause things to levitate or things to superlume or to appear from behind horizons. That's make-believe. Again, you have to watch Jtolan's video. He goes through and explains each of these peaks that you're seeing. So this time you can't have globers that will make the excuse that you're only seeing the top of the mountain, that that's not the full mountain that you're seeing. And of course we can't see the base of it because there's actually a mountain in front of it. But I'll show you that in a second. And then you get the image here that he's showing you where he clearly shows the mathematics involved and shows you see that bottom yellow line? That's where the peak should be, behind the curve, just as Google showed it. The problem is, it's not reality. And I don't know what to tell you guys. Again, you can believe that all the things that you've been taught are true, and that mountains appear from behind curves and all that, or you can believe your eyes and what was just shown to you. You need to ask yourself the question, is that mountain actually there? Because if you believe you live on a sphere, and you believe that mountain is actually there, you've got a problem. They both don't fit. So you'll have to look into it. And I just want to show you one other time because I don't think it's really clear in this video how far we are seeing. So again, here's Google Earth, the observation point. We're looking across this 20 miles of ocean, and then look how far we are seeing to that mountain. Unbelievable, simply incredible. And look at that mountain in front of it. I mean, that whole mountain is blocking the bottom part of the mountain. And yet, as you get further back, you will see how that mountain reveals itself. Now, of course, Google Earth is going to show you here that that mountain drops behind the curvature of the Earth. See that? And we're out in the middle of the ocean here. Pull ourselves back, and you'll begin to realize that you're being lied to. That's all I'm going to tell you. That's all I'm going to say. Get out there and observe the world, and you're going to be surprised. So, it should be fun. I mean, now you can watch all the globers go into excuse mode, making any and every possible excuse to hold on to their science delusion. Maybe they'll make something, maybe it's a dark matter, maybe it's dark energy that's lifting that mountain up and displaying it for us. I mean, who knows? I mean, that's what their excuse is for why gravity doesn't work anywhere else in the entire universe except for the solar system that we're in. So, you know, they'll just make up excuses, but again, any explanation is good enough for them as long as they get to hold on to their space fantasy, that one day they will get to hold hands and walk across the surface of Mars with Elon Musk. And that's why long-distance infrared, 123 miles in this case, impossible on a globe, is exposing this deeply loved lie. Again, the channel you need to go check out, Jtolan Media1. Check out his infrared stuff, and you'll be amazed. Might change your life, who knows? And if you want to support this channel and help me keep making videos and exposing liars and searching for truth, you can use that code j.mp/JarenAMZ when you shop at Amazon, before you shop at Amazon, or you can go to patreon.com/Jarenism or paypal.me/Jaren. Your support is greatly appreciated. So now, go sub Jtolan Media1 before you forget. Do it now. I'll wait. No, I'm just kidding. But when you come back, I'm going to leave you with one of Jtolan's videos. It's just a collection of a lot of his infrared stuff, so you can check that out and enjoy it. And remember to do your own research, because when you do, you'll never again believe the stuff that you were taught. And this has been Jarenism, guys. Until next time, peace.